It's a beautiful Monday morning, week 3 of the podcast. What is this, week 6 of the season? Arkansas Hogs, as we call them. Rick David and Mike Shepard, former Razorbacks, Louisiana natives, Arkansans now at heart, with that Razorback on their front of their shirts and stamped on their heart, and talking about the Razorbacks as finally we have a win. A win that is a rarity under Brett Bielema, in that the Hogs were 0-9 in games decided by 7 points or less under Bielema, 0-8 under quarterback Brandon Allen and anybody else that had started the past 3 years for the Razorbacks in close games. But they won a close game the other night, and 24-20 over Tennessee gets Arkansas back on the right track. Certainly, some of the goals are still in place for the Razorbacks. You know, they're 1-1 in the conference. Alabama coming up this Saturday. I'm not going to say they're going to pull a repeat in Tuscaloosa or anything, but you know, there's still a great shot now to finish out the season, get to a bowl game again, and keep building on what they built on. And as the old saying goes, you don't want to look a gift horse in the mouth. Kind of want to take that and say that I don't want to look this win as you know, something to be pessimistic about at all, and we're not. But there are things about this ball game that still bother me, even though Arkansas won the game. Again, you have a fourth quarter, and even late in the third quarter, where Arkansas is in position. I mean, they're dominating the game. There's no doubt about it. They're dominating the football game, taking away Tennessee's run, controlling the clock, and yet they couldn't put anything in the end zone, couldn't make a field goal, faked another field goal. Instead of putting it up by 18 points and being comfortably in control down the stretch, they let the fourth quarter be another nail biter where you put it on the defense's shoulders to win the ball game at the end. How many times have we seen that not happen? At Rutgers 2 years ago, at LSU 2 years ago, Mississippi State 2 years ago, A&M last year, A&M last week. You look at all the games that Arkansas in control of and have not put it away, and then of course the defense was unable to do it. Well, this time finally, it worked in Arkansas's favor, but you got that worry that on that slick field on a tough night like that, a D-back falls down, you give up the game-winning touchdown in the last couple of minutes, that kind of thing was still out there. And it still concerns me a little bit, even though Arkansas got that win, that they're still not, punching it in, taking it over. Now, I'm going to let you guys do the talk and turn it over to you, Rick.
Well, I think the concerns are there for everyone in that regard. No doubt about it. It was a dominant win, even though the scoreboard didn't show it. And when you come out and you spot a team at their place, 14 points in the beginning of the game, you're down 14-0. They could have quickly folded their tent, but they didn't. And when you really think about the game of football and you rank out the 3 aspects of the game, special teams, defense, and offense, it's in that order. Special teams is number 1. It sets up field possession, right? Defense is number 2, and a far distant number 3 is offense. Because if you have a great defense, you're always going to be in the ball game. And that's where we became dominant in this game, was on defense. We held them from the end of the first quarter. I think, what was it, 14-0 with, I think, like 5 minutes left in the first quarter. They didn't do anything. They really didn't. I mean, we controlled the game on the defensive side of the ball. But what we do as fans is we focus on offense, because that's the key component. And I think where we're falling short is in second and short and second and middle distance. And we're not being aggressive there. We had some aggressive calls. We had the pitch play to Alex Collins in misdirection pitch. It was a great call. Bielema takes credit for it, which is good. And I think
I called that play.
I think he definitely wanted to be more aggressive, which is good. And then you look at the fake field goal. That was kind of either you're a goat or you're a king, one of the two. And unfortunately, he looks like the goat. But I think that was a good aggressive call. But we could have been able to go ahead and have the opportunity to be more aggressive, running some type of play action pass, whatever the case may be, in regards to getting some better distance. So we get out of second middle distance, and don't even have a third down and really demoralize the defense. Mike, your thoughts?
Oh, yeah. Well, good morning. It's Monday, and you might think that we had lost by the state of our energy, but actually it was such a great weekend. I wanted to say congratulations to Jim and Tricia, his wife. They had a big week. Tricia has taken on some really big responsibility. It's kind of prestigious, her position now, so congrats.
Well, thank you. She is a judge to everybody that doesn't know. So, yeah, it was a big weekend, not just the hog win, Mike, but thank you.
Federally appointed judge.
Federally appointed.
Yeah, well, thank you.
Judge Tricia Harris. And then for Rick, of course, this was a revisit to Knoxville. Back in 1992, Rick and the Razorbacks beat Tennessee, and so this was a significant win and kind of a nice little feel-good for Rick, isn't it, right, Rick?
Absolutely.
Well, it's the only time Arkansas won there.
Yeah, that's exactly it, and to be able to match it on Saturday. Tennessee game always is something dear to me. I just like beating them. Let's put it that way.
And it was nice to I don't think I heard Rocky Top one time, and that's the biggest part of the night for me. But to the game, to the items y'all were addressing, y'all addressed, I think, what fans' concerns are. So the fans and what we've heard.
Blocking the sound. I'm blocking the sound.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
okay.
So
You're blocking.
I
don't think we have to worry about it. I haven't even told people. I tried to, but we're at Starbucks again, and today we're outside. So we're kind of enjoying this beautiful fall day, Mike. I didn't want to interrupt you, but I wanted to let our listeners know where we are and why we have. This is a great place. Isn't this a good place to have a podcast?
It is a good place to have a
Starbucks off of Markham here at the Midtown. But anyway, so if you're hearing cars honking, people walking by, it's we're just kind of on the street corner.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of where we probably need to be working, on the street corner.
That's right, and it doesn't help that I'm easily distracted. So the concerns y'all were talking about, being creative on second and short, second and middle distance, being able to finish out the game with the ball in our possession on a long drive, those type things. Those are legitimate concerns, but as Rick referenced, if you look at what really happened in this game versus A&M, our defense matured. We kind of went back to where we were last year at the end of the season, where we would have very disciplined rush lanes with our front four. We contained Dobbs all night with four defensive linemen. These are the same four defensive linemen we've been playing with all year. Again, we're revisiting some of Bielema's fundamentals, Rob Smith's fundamentals of improving from week to week. It's hard for me to consider Tennessee the best rushing team in the SEC coming into this game because we were so dominant on defense. After the 14-0 beginning, from that point, we adjusted. We didn't lose confidence.
Right. And they kept running for less and less. Each quarter is much less than the previous one, to where it was -6 yards in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, and if you look at the number of drives, and the Razorbacks had 4 drives for a total of over 11 plays per drive in the second half. So, sometimes the best defense is a result of a sustained drive on offense, keeping them off the field. So, overall, Rick was talking about the creative plays. That one to Collins is one that really stood out to fans because where did that come from? That's very effective. It's misdirection. It's on the edge, and it worked. What I would like to see moving forward is a little more of the dump passes out in the flat, because without Jay Williams, you don't have the speed to get to the edge as quick, and so therefore you have to get there by other means, and one of those is to dump it out into the flat. So those are my top of mind thoughts this morning.
Well, and I think some of that was in the plans. I mean, but you lose Cornelius, you lose Keon Hatcher. We saw that plan in game 1, where it was to get it out as a bubble screen, and that was really a running play to use the fact that, they didn't have Jay Will then, but that they had an effective enough game they could get it out wide. We don't even have that right now. I don't think that guys like Drew Morgan, who had a great game down the field, when he's turning into the player I always thought he could be, in kind of a Wes Welker kind of receiver, even better than that, maybe good, faster receiver than that. But they don't really have a guy. I don't think that Reed or Robinson are ready to be that kind of receiver on the outside to run a bubble screen yet. But there's some effective means, and we're seeing also the return or the rededication of the blind blocking for the run, and that was going to be the strength. You and I talked about this many times about Tennessee, Rick, that Arkansas was going to be able to block Tennessee. There was no doubt they were going to be able to block them. They were able to block A&M in the middle. Those great ends are one thing, but Arkansas could block A&M in the middle, and that's where they blocked them all night. So, there are positives all the way around.
Yeah, there definitely are positives, and it brings it back to. First, I want to comment on what you were discussing in regards to the wide receivers. We have some talented guys that were out on that field, in Reed and Robinson. There's no doubt about it. But you remember the play where it looked like JoJo Robinson ran an inside curl route, settled, and then the defender was to Robinson's right. Yeah. And Robinson just stayed there. You got to play basketball and get open at that point in time. And Brandon Allen was trying to be intuitive and expecting him to seep more to his left. And so he threw it to Robinson's left, and Robinson didn't get there, and they came off to the sidelines, and Brandon was on his butt about it. Mm-hmm. And that's where people can sit there and they go, oh, Brandon Allen threw a bad pass. No, he wasn't on the same page with his receiver. That is the component of experience playing into it, where Drew Morgan, if that was him, he'd have caught that. Mm-hmm. Keon Hatcher would have caught that. Hollister would have caught that, because they understand what's trying to be accomplished right there. It's not necessarily, okay, run the line that Coach drew in the room. You got to improvise on the run, and that was something.
That's also a pass that 2 years ago Brandon Allen might have thrown for a pick. Let's look how far he's come. I know there's tons of criticism out there. I offered a little bit in the fact that I didn't think Arkansas can still close the deal in the fourth quarter, but look how far he's come.
And that's coaching. That's Enos. I mean, I think that's where that comes into play. But you look at recruiting, and you look at how different these two teams are. I think that really plays into it. They had 4 5-star recruits last year, according to Rivals. Think about that. That's where you go, okay, they recruited 4 guys that are immediate impact, supposedly.
Yeah, a true freshman at linebacker, Kirkland.
Yeah, I'll tell you right now, I didn't see that. Mm-hmm. And Christian Kirk.
I'd take him.
Oh,
I would take
There's
no
no
the
doubt.
linebacker in a second.
I
would take Christian Kirk too.
Oh yeah, Christian Kirk is what I'm getting at. Is Christian Kirk is the electric guy.
He's a 7-star. They just don't have those.
Yeah,
they stop at 5, but they probably should keep going for that rare 2 or 3 players out there that are
truly
probably
dynamic.
Ready to go. Just like Darren McFadden was probably worth 7 stars or more to Arkansas.
Absolutely. When you end up being the second leading rusher in the SEC, you're that dynamic. But where we have out-recruited them is on the fronts, and it shows. Our defensive line played excellent. Our offensive line pushed them around, but it also goes Ben Aber. Ben Aber, listen to me. That's
Ben Aber?
Ben Herbert. Ben Herbert actually came out and has done an excellent job with that defense and offensive line. That's why we'll have a chance against Alabama, Mike.
Yeah, we're talking about the defensive line.
Which you are of expertise in.
Well, I'm the old school where it's, hands inside, short, choppy steps. Things have changed a little bit for the front 4 these days, and if you look at the stats, the defensive stat sheet, one thing that stands out to me, the columns for Tennessee where there are sacks and tackle for loss are practically empty, and then you scan up to Arkansas's defensive statistics, and in the columns of sacks and tackle for loss, it's completely full. You've got a true freshman, Dre Greenlaw from Fayetteville. What was his recruiting ranking?
Probably a 3-star.
Yeah, 3-star.
Georgia came
but he
after
did get
him
offered. Yeah, he got late offers that were pretty good.
Andre Tolliver, Tevin Beanham, who had 2 tackles for a loss and 1 sack. You'd have to call him the defensive player of the game.
Absolutely. Jeremiah
Ledbetter, Jamichael Winston, Dietrich Wise. All of these guys are in the 3 to 4-star range, and they're the reason that we performed the way we did. We contained Tennessee's, 5-star quarterback? Is he a 5-star?
No, he was a 3-star, but Jalen Hurd was a 5-star, the running back.
Oh, there you go. Well, we contained their offense, and primarily we did it with our front four. So I feel very good coming out of last night. You're going to face a little more of a physical front line in Alabama and a little bit bigger downhill runners with Alabama. But really, we're making progress every week. And for the people who still, it's hard for us as Arkansas fans not to think of worst case because we've been through it a few times here. But I tend to look at what's going well, and right now, it's our defense.
And that's going to bring us to the end of the first part of this podcast with Jim, Rick, and Mike. Part 2 is available. You can click on that. I believe they'll be separate on the website this week. That'll give us a chance to sip on some more coffee and take a break and observe the talent here, see if there's any 5 stars here at Starbucks to recruit. No, we don't do that. We're all happily married guys, right?
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes, absolutely. Couldn't be better. I'm telling you, man, I outkicked my coverage, as you mentioned earlier in this podcast. Anyway, we'll be back with part 2 in just a minute. Actually, it can be as long as you want it to be. But we're just going to be gone for a minute.